Good morning, students. Welcome to the online class for Standard 10. Today we'll continue the chapter His First Flight, written by Limo Flaherty. And as you know, this is a beautiful story which depicts the struggle, the fear of this young seagull who couldn't make his first step towards flying. And finally, what happens with him, we will read in this part. And whether he conquers his fear or he doesn't make any attempt or he stays there hungry, what happens, we'll read in this part. So let's come to the chapter. "Ga, ga, ga," he cried, begging her to bring him some food. "Go, oh," she screamed back derisively. So derisively means in a manner showing someone that he or she is stupid. So you can see the picture, the first picture, which shows that the seagull is just opening its mouth to cry, to make sound, and he begging. This young seagull is begging to mother to come back and give him some food because he is hungry. He hasn't eaten for the last few hours, and he is all alone there. And he tried to attract the attention of all the family members, but they didn't take any notice except the mother. So when the mother was looking at this young seagull, the seagull started crying and making sound. And but what was the reaction of the mother? She screamed back, but in a manner which she wanted to tell that you are stupid. You make the first flight, you fly, otherwise you will remain hungry. The warning they gave to this young seagull. But he kept calling plaintively. Plaintively means very sadly, in a pitiful manner. He kept calling the mother, and finally, what happened? After a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Who? Who refers he here? He refers to the young seagull. So now the seagull was crying and kept shouting, and in a very pitiful manner, in a very sad manner, he just kept on calling the mother to come and give him some food. And finally, what happened? His uh, prayers, you can say, his uh, this appeal, it was accepted by the mother. And what he saw, he shouted a joyful scream. Let's see why. Because he saw his mother had picked up a piece of the fish. You can say the other picture, the fish, and was flying across to him with it. So now the mother, as you know, the mother are very kind hearted. They can never see the children in suffering. They can't never see the children hungry. So this mother seagull, what she did, she took a piece of fish in her beak and she started flying. And towards whom? Uh, he started flying to him, and with the food in it. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. So you can see the picture how the mother feeds the child and how a bird feeds a seagull. Mother seagull feeds the child with the fish. And now what happened? What this seagull did? Let's see. So he eagerly came near to the rock. He tapped the rock with his feet and came nearer to the edge of that cliff. And the mother, she flew across. But when she was just opposite to him, then what happened? She halted. She stopped. So the mother seagull, in her beak was food, that fish, and this young seagull, baby seagull, it came nearer to the edge, and he saw the mother coming. So he was so hungry that he, for some moment, he forgot about that fear, and he came near to the edge. And the mother was there. You can see the other picture. And then what happened? Let's see. But as she was opposite to him, she stopped there. She made an halt, paused there, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. So she came very close to the young seagull. She was motionless, and the fish was in her beak. And then she didn't come to the rock. She didn't come to the mountain. Rather, she made a stop there. Her wings were motionless without any movement. Then what happened? He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she didn't come nearer. And then, maddened by hunger, then what happened? He waited for some time, and he was full of surprise that mother came near him, but still she was not giving the food to him. Rather, the fish is in her beak, and she was so close, and she was not coming to him. And let's see, he waited for a moment in surprise, wondering what happened, why she is not coming nearer. And then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. So he was so mad in hunger that for the last 24 hours he had not eaten anything. He was so hungry, so lonely, and the mother and all the other brothers and siblings, they had already flew away, and they were catching fish, they were having fun. But this young seagull, he was all alone, and the food made him mad. The sight of the fish in the beak made him mad, and what he did? He dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. But you can see when he jumped to dive means to jump. When he jumped to take the fish from the beak of the mother, what happened? So he fell down, and he was shouting in a very loud voice, and he fell outwards and inwards, downwards into the space. He fell down. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. Suddenly, he felt a kind of fear. The terror was there in his heart, and his heart stood still. For some time, you must have, you can say, you have gone, or you have taken a ride in that roundabout. When it goes up, you don't feel anything, but when it comes down, suddenly there is something in the heart you feel, isn't it? The falling down, that fear. So there was that kind of fear in that seagull, and then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. So you can underline this thing. What happened? When he was maddened by the hunger, he took a dive. He jumped at the fish, but the fish he couldn't take, rather, he fell down. And while he was falling down, what happened? So there was terror. His heart stood still, and he could hear nothing, and his mind was not working. But all this thing, it happened only for a minute. And then what happened? The next moment, he felt wings spread. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. You can see the picture. He was so afraid, frightened, and he was trying to open his wings, and he fell down, and there is fear in his face. And the seagull, the bird, it was full of fear, and he was so much afraid that he could hear nothing. His mind was not working. His heart was still. And all this happened only for a minute. And after that, what happened? He felt his wings spread outwards. Suddenly, that fear that his wings won't support him was gone. And he could feel that his wings, which he thought to be very a kind of weakness in him, that it won't open up and he will fall down, it suddenly what happened? It spread outward. And the wind that rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. So now he is in the air, and the wind is touching him, his all body parts. And then he could feel the wind, and he could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. You can find out. Now, the second picture you can see, there is transformation, there is change. When he fell down, what was the condition? And after some time, what happened? His wings opened up and the wind rushed against his feathers and then under his stomach and then wings, and he could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. Okay, just like you fly kite, it moves upward, isn't it? So the air, the wind, it was cut. It seemed that his wings were cutting the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Now, all these things happened, as you know, that the height of that mountain cliff and the sea, it was too long, isn't it? It's miles and miles down. And now what happened when he was falling downwards and he could feel the air, and now he is not falling headlong, rather he was soaring gradually up. Now he is downwards and outward he is moving, and the main thing that he is no longer afraid. The fear has gone. The fear, that fear which dragged him backward, is no longer there. So there is no fear in his heart, but a little bit dizzy he was feeling, sleepy kind of thing. And then what happened? He flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Now he opened his wings and he flapped it, moved it, and then he went upwards. Ga 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 gaul ko. So these are the sounds which are made by the seagulls. His mother swooped past him, his wings making a loud noise. So after that, what, her wings making a loud noise. So when the young seagull started flying, the mother was full of praise. The mother came and she also flapped her wings. She made a swoop around him, past him. He just flew around here, this young seagull, and her wings were making loud noise as she was a big one, isn't it? While flapping the wings, the loud noise was produced. Here he answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sisters flying around him. So now what happened? The mother came to encourage him, and then the father, he also was coming flying, and he flew over and he was also screaming. Then he saw the brothers and the sisters, they were also flying around him. You can see all the family members, they were full of enthusiasm and they were full of praise for this young seagull. Earlier, they were taunting him, they were calling him coward because he was not able to take that first step to fly. But now he is successful. So the family members, they always try to encourage us. Sometimes we may feel that they are not supporting us, but they want us to be brave. They are always behind us. Whenever we are in need, our family members, they support us. You may think that your parents are shouting at you for not studying, they are not allowing you to do this and that, but finally they want you to be good. They want your well-being. They know what is right and what is wrong for you, and they will definitely support you when you are in trouble. So, and here also we can see the family members, they were calling him coward, they were threatening him, they were giving warning, but still they were making him brave. They were behind his success. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly, and commended himself to dive and soar and curve, shrieking shrilly. So now what happened? He forgot that he was not able to fly. So that fear was not there. And you must have seen this young child, the kid, when he learns to talk, he keeps on talking all the time. He loves talking, isn't it? Making sound. When he walks, he runs and he moves, he falls down. So that new feeling, new experience, when the kids, they learn by cycling. Okay, what they do? They keep cycling all day. They love it, isn't it? Similarly, when this seagull, he learned to fly, he kept diving, soaring, making curves and shrieking, and he just loved flying now. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. So now that experience of flying and the green sea, the beautiful scene. So it made him feel amused. He was very happy. He loved it. So he saw the area, the world around him. He just flew straight over the water. He just looked at the green sea, the vast green sea, and there were also some ridges moving over it. Then he turned his beak sideways. He looked here and there. He cawed amusedly. Cawed means making sound. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. They were making loud noise. They were calling him loudly to come. He dropped his legs to stand on the greens. You can see the picture that how he was dropping the legs to sink into the water. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. Okay, so when he had learned flying, he loved it. He saw the environment, he saw the nature around him, and now it was time to dive or to make a landing on the water and then catch the fish, isn't it? And so when his legs were deep into the water, so he made a frightening sound, and he screamed up, and he attempted to rise again. He opened his wings, and he just wanted to fly again, but it was his first time, so he was very tired and weak with hunger, and he couldn't rise. Exhausted by the strange experience, so now all this experience was quite strange for him because he had never done that earlier. And that flying up and down and moving so amusedly, he was watching everything. He was soaring up and down, and he was coming, and that all this exercise or flying, it made him tired. His feet sank into the green sea, then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther. So, as you know that he was afraid to fly, what was the fear in him? That his wings won't support him. He would fall down. But when he touched the water, what was the fear in him? That he will drown. Okay, he will sink in the water. But after some time, what happened? He put his feet down. He sank into green water, and then his belly. And now he was not sinking, or he was not drowning, rather he was floating in the water. So he was floating on it. He didn't drown there. He didn't get inside the water. Rather, he kept floating. And around him, his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. So the family members, they taught him a lesson. They taught him to fly. They encouraged him, and now they were full of support, motivated him, and now they were screaming and praising him, and their beaks were offering, giving him food. So now he has completed the task of flying, and now he had made his first flight. So the fear is gone. He is successful at his first flight. So this is the beautiful story which tells about the struggle one has in mind while doing something new. So the seagull, before taking the first step, he was also very afraid. Before putting the feet in the water, he was very afraid that he will drown there. But the courage, the family members, everybody, they supported him. They made him do this work, and he was successful later on. So this is all for today, and we will do the next chapter in the next class, and the question answers will be also done. So till then, goodbye. I hope you have understood.